Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So where did we stop actually?
We're done with no.
This was also done.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next topic is system assessment procedures for design and implementation of internal controls. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
first, under that, first thing that we need to know, evidence gathering. So how do we gather evidence? We're going to talk to people who are involved, okay? And we're going to observe how these controls are applied, okay? And
Mm-hmm.
we're going to do walkthrough test. Walkthrough means we're going to take a transaction and we're going to observe it from the beginning till its end. Clear?
Mm-hmm. Clear.
That means we are going to try to know how these are being recorded, how these are being passed to different stages. Clear? And we are
Clear.
going to inspect whatever relevant documents that we have. Okay. For example,
Mm-hmm.
internal procedure manuals where the client is going to list every internal controls that they have. Okay. So what is
Mm-hmm.
the limitations? See, asking alone doesn't give us the understanding or the idea. We have to observe it, we have to see it, we have to test it. Clear?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what can we do as an auditor? We are going to use our existing knowledge. That means we must have done previous year audits, so we or any other similar audits. So we're going to accumulate those knowledge and use it. Clear?
Clear.
Now, risk-based system update. Okay, now as and when the client's risk susceptibility is complex or is minimized, you're going to change your system accordingly. Clear? Now,
Mm-hmm.
next is testing frequency. So you're going to test your client's internal controls annually, at least, okay, or at least once in every third audit. Clear?
Clear.
Okay. And basically, it's normally done on interims. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's just
Mm-hmm.
documenting client system. So you have to identify, you have to note down what all internal control system that your client has. Okay. So there are
Okay.
three methods: narrative notes, flowcharts, and questionnaires. Narrative notes are writing notes or writing it down what all controls are there in your there in your client company. Flowcharts are graphical representation of how the control system works. Okay, and questionnaires
Mm-hmm.
are collecting answers for the questions that has been preset. Clear? And under
Clear.
questionnaires, we have two types of questionnaires: ICQ and ICEQ. Clear?
Mm-hmm.
ICQ is internal control questionnaire. This is internal control evaluation questionnaire. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
in ICQ, we have controls, and the client is going to confirm the controls by saying a yes or no. Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
internal control evaluation questionnaire is when the client is going to describe the objective of a certain control that has been set. Clear?
Clear.
Okay. Now,
Mm-hmm.
the difference between the wordings of ICQ and ICQ is, see, ICQ always gives a yes or no answer. For example,
Mm-hmm.
does the supervisor authorize all weekly timesheets? The client would say either yes or a no. Clear?
Mm-hmm. Clear.
Now, if we have to get a description of how this particular control is done, you're going to ask, how does the company ensure that only hours worked are recorded on the timesheets? So,
Mm-hmm.
this is actually the objective that we are questioning. Clear?
Mm-hmm.
Understood? Does the company
And
perform a regular credit check on all customers? So, for that, I see this is a yes or no question. Either it
mm-hmm.
is there or it is not there, right? Now,
Okay. Yes.
what is the ICEQ wording? How are you minimizing your risk of irrecoverable debts? Clear? So this is
Clear.
the answer to it. Okay. If you remove this part, this is particularly the answer to it. Clear?
Mm-hmm.
Understood?
Understood.
Now, the fourth and last one is the organizational chart. This is basically going to describe who all are assuming which roles in the company, what are their responsibilities, how does the control flow, etc. Clear?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what are the
Clear.
considerations? We have to have uh, a detailed, comprehensive note about all the evaluations that we have done, okay, and effectiveness of it, okay, and we can actually make use of various methods. That means there is no rule that we have to use only one method. You can use any of the four. Clear?
Mm-hmm.
This at least you must have in place because to know the client. Clear?
Okay.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
now testing the system. So auditor is going to test the controls, okay, in order to
Mm-hmm.
see and ensure that these controls are capable of preventing, detecting, and correcting material misstatements in the at the assertion level. Clear? Okay.
Clear.
Now we are going to test whether the controls are. We are going to see that all the controls are tested appropriately to back our findings. Okay. So if there
Mm-hmm.
is no plan or no action that we are going to take place, that we are going to have beforehand, then that means the testing is useless. Clear? Now,
Mm-hmm.
what are the testing methods? First one is observation. That means you can look and see. Okay. Second one is
Mm-hmm.
you can actually inspect the documents to see whether a control that they say is there is actually there. Clear? Next
Clear.
is you can use the test data. That is with the computerized audit technique, you can test the data. Clear? Use
Clear.
test data. Now, this is a major important area. You're going to have 3 marks, 2 marks question from it, and
Mm-hmm.
they are going to give a lot. Let's say they're going to give you narrative. They're going to give you two topics: narrative notes and flowcharts, and they're going to ask you advantage and disadvantage.
Okay.
Okay, and one
Okay.
point would give you half mark. Another point
Oh,
would
okay.
give you another half mark. Clear?
Okay.
So
Clear.
it would be like 2 marks each. Clear?
Mm-hmm.
4 marks, 4 marks in total. Or it could be for
Okay.
6 marks. That is, three of the topics would be given, and you have to write advantage and
Okay.
disadvantage. Clear?
Okay.
And this is
Clear.
a most common repeated question that has been coming for the AA exams. Clear?
Okay. Clear.
So narrative notes, what are the advantages? It is very simple to record. You just need to describe and write. That's it. And it's
Mm-hmm.
going to be understood by all of them. Disadvantage is that it is a very time consuming process, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it is also very difficult to identify whether there is any control missing if you're going to keep on writing things down, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, flow
Yes.
charts, if you see the diagram, it is very easy to identify controls and understand
Mm-hmm.
controls. Okay, and also you can also simply detect which controls are missing in the organization. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
disadvantages. In order to amend a certain thing, you have to change the whole graph. So it is a very difficult process. Okay. Now,
Mm-hmm.
even if there is flow chart, you might need brief notes to explain what the chart actually means, right? So it is double work.
Mm-hmm.
Clear?
Mm-hmm.
Next is
Clear.
ICQ wordings. See, ICQ wordings are very quick to prepare and it is a standardized form. Okay. And it is
Mm-hmm.
going to ensure that all the common standards that should be there is actually there. Clear? Disadvantage
Clear.
is that, see, the client is going to fill yes or no, right? So
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the client might say yes to the controls which are not there actually. Clear?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And it is also possible that in the control list there could be unusual controls which the client does not use at all, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it could be there.
Yes.
And also there could be number of irrelevant controls to the audit. Clear? Now,
Mm-hmm.
ICQ, the client can promptly respond other than a yes or no answer. He can actually describe how a certain control is working in the organization, and it is very quick to prepare. Okay. The
Mm-hmm.
problem is still the client might overstate the controls, might exaggerate. Clear? And
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the checklist cannot be having a relevant objectives of controls, right? And the
Mm-hmm.
last thing is there could be unusual risk, okay, subjective to the organization, and certain controls may become undetected, may go undetected, missing. Clear?
Clear.
Understood? Now we are going
Yes.
to see into what controls actually is doing. Okay. So for
Mm-hmm.
that, I'm going to take from certain things. We're going to cover certain topics in order to familiarize yourself with control objective, control procedure, deficiency in control, etc. Clear?
Mm-hmm.
And in the practice question, it has been described in detail how you're going to approach these things in the AA exam. Clear? Now,
Okay. Clear.
so when what happens when a revenue is recorded? let's take a walkthrough. Okay, first you're going to take the order, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to give away that goods to the customer, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you're going to raise the invoice at the same time, and you're going to record the sale, and you're going to ensure that the payment is received and recorded, right? So that is the
Mm-hmm.
stages of revenue. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So at the stage of the order being taken, what is the control objective? The control objective, that means whatever systems are there in the order taken stage, you're going to ensure certain things. Out of it, the first one is you're going to ensure the order has been raised accurately. That means nothing has been gone wrong in the figures, right?
Mm-hmm.
Next is you're going to ensure that if it is a credit sales, you're going to ensure that you are giving orders to people who are credit worthy. Clear?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then you're going to ensure that, see, all the companies have a certain credit limit. Even if you order online, okay, for cash on delivery, there is a certain benchmark there. Let's say 2000.
Mm-hmm.
Up to 2000, you can order. Beyond that, you have to pay, right? So there should be a
Yeah.
credit limit. Okay. Now, the last one is the company is able to fulfill the order in time. Clear?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So for all of these, we have to have controls in place, right? Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
what are the controls that we have in place? See, we are going to take in all the orders from the customer in a written format. Okay. Or we are going to confirm it with the customer itself. Clear? Now,
Clear.
whichever order is going to come, we are going to ensure that all of these customers are going a credit check. Clear? That means they
Mm-hmm.
should be able to pay us back. Okay. Now,
Okay.
before accepting those orders, we are going to again revise the credit limits, and we are going to see whether anything is to be amended on the credit limits. Clear? Now, we
Mm-hmm.
have once the order is taken, we have to fulfill the order. So we are going to make sure that we have enough inventory to take the orders in the first place. Clear?
Clear.
Now, the order is taken. Now the goods needs to be dispatched, right? For
Mm-hmm.
that, whatever orders are there, it should be sent to the warehouse in order to dispatch, right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever goods have been ordered, it should be in the inventory, right?
Yes.
Okay. And also the correct goods should be delivered to the correct customer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So for that, what do? You're going to ensure that the computer or the order patch, you see, I so many tablets that the salesmen move around with, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you're going to ensure that there must be a control where these orders are going to be sequentially numbered and generated. Clear?
Mm-hmm. Clear.
Okay. And this way you would see going, nothing has gone missing. Clear?
Clear.
Now you're going to take the customer order, and on the basis of customer order, you're going to select goods from the warehouse. Clear? Okay.
Clear.
And then the order is going to be authorized and signed when the goods are selected. Clear?
Mm-hmm.
Then you're going to match it with the goods dispatched note, GDN. Okay. With that
Okay.
of the customer order. Clear?
Clear.
Okay. And then the customer is going to sign the GDN. So GDN is basically goods dispatch note. So what is a goods
Mm-hmm.
dispatch? When the goods are being delivered to the customer, you sign a particular document with the date, time, quantity, price of the goods, right? So that is basically
Mm-hmm.
GDN. Clear?
Okay.
And
Clear.
also, you're going to sign any returns that you have received also. Clear?
Clear.
Okay. And as soon as you get the GDN, you're going to make copies of it, and you're going to store them in many departments, finance department, in the warehouse department, in the purchase, in the sales department, etc. Clear?
Clear.
Okay. Now the goods has been dispatched. You need to raise the invoices, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when you raise the invoices, what are your objectives, your goals? See, all the deliveries, you're going to raise invoice. That is one thing, right? Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
whatever invoice you're going to raise, it should be of the correct amount. Okay. Now,
Okay.
if there is any returns, you have to raise credit notes for that particular returns, and it should be authorized, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what is the control procedure? You're going to take the GDN. Remember the GDN that you have prepared? You're going to sell it to
Yeah.
the invoicing department, that is the finance department. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
From there, the invoice would be raised and it is going to be matched against the copies attached. That means there could be purchase order, sorry, sales order, the payment voucher, the receipt voucher, everything. So you're going to ensure that these things match. Clear? Or the
Clear.
journal vouchers match. Okay. Next
Mm-hmm.
control is that the order is going to be agreed towards the GDN. Agreed means you're going to match it. Clear? See,
Clear.
in WA, we can't use the word match. Instead of using the word match, we say agree. Clear?
Okay, even the wording matters.
Yeah, wording matters and it is there in the procedures chapter recordings. Clear?
Okay, fine.
I've
Noted.
clearly mentioned not to use anything, any ordinary English. We have to use AA set of terms and it is
Mm-hmm.
very compulsory. It has been given in the ACCA technical articles. Specifically, they
Okay.
have mentioned you have to use certain words. Clear?
Okay, fine.
Now, the order is going to be agreed with the GDN. The GDN is going to be agreed back to the invoice, and the invoice is to be agreed with the price list. See, the company would have a list of products and for what price it is going to be sold at, right? You're
Mm-hmm.
going to
Mm-hmm.
agree that these have been sold at the price list also. Okay.
Okay.
Now, all the above checked items should be signed by a responsible personnel of
Mm-hmm.
certain senior authority. Clear? Now
Clear.
you have to collect all the credit notes. You have to keep a copy attached with the invoice. It relates in order to agree them together. Clear? Now,
Mm-hmm.
all the credit notes should be authorized by a senior personnel. Understood? Now,
Understood.
the invoicing is done. You need to record the sale. So, when you record the sale, what are the objectives that you are going to accomplish? You need to ensure that all the sales are recorded, right? You need to
Mm-hmm.
ensure that the correct amount of the sale should be recorded for whatever sale has happened, right? Now
Mm-hmm.
the sale should be recorded against the correct customer, right? So for
Mm-hmm.
all of these things, certain controls you're going to keep in place. So what are the things that you're going to keep in place? You're going to now and again take the debtors ledger and you're going to see the credit balances. Okay. And wherever you feel wherever you find out the invoices have not been recorded, you're going to record the invoices. You're going to keep doing this on a regular basis. You're going to reconcile the debtor balances because sometimes there could be reconciliations happening. Okay, you must have studied in FA, and if not,
Mm-hmm.
it is simply that the debtors are being recorded at a time and paid later at a later date. Okay, and it could be a bank
Yes.
transaction, and sometimes cash in transit might happen. So, all of these things happen. And due to that, our balance and the debtor's balance could not be matching together. So, we need to ensure that it is reconciled on a regular basis. Clear?
Clear.
Now you're going to ensure check all the entries in the invoices. You're going to regularly give statements to the debtors, reminding them that they need to pay this particular amount. That is called customer statements. Clear?
Clear.
Okay. Now, when the payment is received and recorded, okay. So our objective here is to ensure that all the customers are paying their correct amount, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we have to ensure all the invoices are being paid. Okay, we have to ensure all the receipts that we receive are being recorded, right? And we're going
Mm-hmm.
to ensure that correct amounts are being recorded, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and we're going to ensure that payment when we receive it is going to be allocated towards the correct customer. We're going to reverse the correct customer, right? And you have to ensure that all of the payments that we receive are regularly banked. That means it is deposited into the bank. Clear? Now,
Clear.
what are the control procedures you do in order to achieve these objectives? You're going to agree the cash received to the invoice. Clear? You're going
Mm-hmm.
to review aged listing. Now, what is an aged listing and old balance? See, if the customer has not been paying for more than 6 months, for more than 1 year, or since very long, the customer has not been paying, that is called aged listing. Okay, that means you have picked out certain customers and you have prepared a list. or you are
Mm-hmm.
investigating the old balances in order to see that it is being paid properly. Clear? Now
Clear.
you're going to chase up the old outstanding amounts. You're going to say, you are going to talk, you're going to leave a message, email telling them to pay back, or you're going to directly go. Clear? Then you're going to
Mm-hmm.
perform regular bank reconciliations to ensure that our bank balance is same as with the cash book that we have maintained. Clear?
Clear.
Okay. Just a moment. Okay. Then we are going to lodge, that means we are going to deposit all the check that we have uh, got on a regular basis. Just a moment.
Okay.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Then you're going to ensure that each of them have separate duties. No one person should do all the job. Clear? And
Mm-hmm.
then you're going to review the customer statements again and again to ensure that no customer is outstanding. Okay. And
Okay.
also, you're going to ensure that you are retaining customer remittances. That means there could be customer who are going to pay in advance. So everything should be uh, looked into properly. Clear?
Clear.
Okay. So what is the test of control that we do? As an auditor, we are going to take the customer files for reference and we are going to see the credit checks. We are going to see whether it has been authorized by the senior staff. Clear?
Mm-hmm.
Then we are
Mm-hmm.
going to ensure there has been correct credit limits for customers, and we are not posting a sale without beyond their credit limits. That means we're going to ensure these people are not giving a customer a credit sales more than what their credit limit is. Clear? Then
Clear.
you're going to the GDN with the sales invoice, the list prices, the quantities in order to ensure arithmetical accuracy. And also you're going to check the VAT and the postings as well. Clear? Next
Clear.
is you verify the credit notes with the correspondence. That means the communication with the original invoices, with the amounts and authorization, and also the GDN where the goods returned has been recorded. Clear? And then you're going to see the numerical sequence of the invoices that has been kept of the credit notes and the GDN and the sales orders. Clear? And these
Clear.
are to ensure that is there any missing numbers between the invoices. Clear? Then you're
Clear.
going to take the review of the sales ledger reconciliation. You're going to take the samples of accounts in the ledger. You're going to reperform the additions and you're going to take the balances carried down and you're going to calculate it again. Clear?
Clear.
Now, for the outstanding balances, you're going to review the correspondence. Correspondence is simply all forms of communication, nothing major thing, nothing
Okay.
major. Yeah, it's nothing major, it's
Mm-hmm.
nothing a big thing. It just means communication of all sorts. It could be email, it could be message, it could be a phone call. Clear? It could be
Clear.
uh, getting to them personally. So all forms of correspondence. Okay. Then you're going to
Okay.
review the process of how these statements are being dispatched to the customer, whether they are being released on a regular basis or not. Clear? And then you're
Mm-hmm.
going to ensure that the bad debts are being written off. Okay. And these are authorized by the managers. Clear?
Clear.
Okay. So we're going to
So
stop